guys, it's me Kazuma Kuriyami, and today I want to talk to you guys about something important. Now, I want to tell you guys that you know, I'm a huge fan of card games, trading card games. I played a bit of Pokemon when I was a kid, but I never really got a chance to be competitive. So, okay, before I make things confusing, let's start the topic. The topic at hand is that I want to say that if you guys are casual players for card games and you guys are just starting off with uh, Magic the Gathering, I'll give you guys some advice because, yeah, that's the topic. Before you get into Magic the Gathering, you guys should hear my advice first. And I think my advice is also important because I have a lot of friends who start off with Magic the Gathering. It's a good game, by the way, it's a really good game, but there are some repercussions in which sort of made things complicated in their life. So this only applies to people in my country, or if you're in America or something, like if you're into Magic the Gathering, maybe this also applies to you. I don't really know. So I'll explain. I started off playing Pokemon. Never really got competitive, but I liked it a lot. Then I went to Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh is like my thing. I have a Dark Magician deck, one of my favorites. I also have a Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. I'll show you guys that right now. Yeah, this is my Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. Right here, see? I also got Blue Eyes. You know, I'm into Blue Eyes. Like, I actually use this deck a lot more than the Dark Magician do. So, I went to Yu-Gi-Oh, and after I got to Yu-Gi-Oh, I got into Cardfight Vanguard. So I'll show you guys my favorite Cardfight Vanguard. Okay, I have Shadow Paladins, the Dark G era, and I also got, let's see. I want to show you guys my stuff as well. I also got Galendio's deck. It's a proxy, but I don't really care because the game's not there anymore. 4 copies of Star Vader Infinite Zero Dragon. So yeah, I also got a Link Joker Galendio's deck. This was a proxy, I don't really care. So after I got into Vanguard, I stuck by Vanguard for a long time. Then there are moments in which I would go back to Yu-Gi-Oh, bounce back to Yu-Gi-Oh every now and then as well. And then my friend told me to try Magic the Gathering. I got these decks. My friend got me these decks. It's just a starter deck, or whatever you want to call it. It's a starter deck if you're beginning with Magic the Gathering. Now, the problem I have with Magic the Gathering is that it's way more complicated, way more expensive, way more time consuming, and much more complicated than any other game I've ever played. Period. I'm being completely honest. If you guys disagree with me, that's fine. People are entitled to their own opinions. But as a casual, I guess I would consider myself casual because I'm not really aiming for something competitive. I consider myself to be more of a collector than an actual competitive player. But I did play competitive in Vanguard before. I want to make that clear. So, I went for Yu-Gi-Oh! And Vanguard. I play Vanguard more than Yu-Gi-Oh! By the way. So, like I said, I was into those two. I bounced between Yu-Gi-Oh! Vanguard, Yu-Gi-Oh! Vanguard. I wanted to try something different, so I tried Magic the Gathering. But like I said, it had a lot of issues. I was okay with Magic the Gathering, don't get me wrong, but the problem is, every time I try to get support for certain decks, it's really difficult to build. Like, it's very expensive. This will cost, okay, I live in the Philippines, okay? If you live in America, and I don't really know how much the support there is, but I have friends from America as well. So, if you're gonna go start with Magic the Gathering, the support you're gonna get to make certain decks work, especially this, Jesus Christ, it's super hard to do. And some decks are just overpowered. For instance, this one. I both got these on the same day. I wanted to make this work because I picked this. My friend gave me other options. I picked this one because I like this one. My younger brother got this. He keeps kicking my ass with this one. And I asked him why. Then he told me, It's like a Harry Potter freaking meme. Some decks are just better than others. I know it's, kind of cheesy or corny or whatever, but yeah, that's true. Some decks are just better than others. It's not completely balanced sometimes. I even play a bit of White Squirts, but I never really got into the game. I only have one deck, so I'm not a collector. I just have a deck in White Squirts. Let's get back to the topic. I talked about Magic the Gathering. First of all, way too expensive. Freaking support, one card, 1K right away. Sometimes it's even 500. In dollars, I don't know, like sometimes it'll be like $100. It's really expensive. It's way more expensive than the other card games I played. Cardfight, Vanguard, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Don't go by that freaking range. Magic the Gathering is a different case. You need to be, you need to have some wealth if you want to keep going with this hobby. So that's number one. It's very expensive. Number two, it's really time consuming. Now, that's going to be weird coming from somebody like me, considering I already have a lot of time. I have a lot of hobbies, so what makes Magic the Gathering any more different than any of the hobbies I've done before? I'll say it. There's new support. There's new support most of the time. The ban list, not so much. I'm not even sure if Magic the Gathering has a ban list because I stopped it like years ago. But I heard from many people that they told me that they're just freaking decks that are super meta. And even though you want to use a specific kind of deck, it doesn't really work that way. It's not like in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or in Vanguard in which you try to equalize it bit by bit. Because other card games have those issues. But the results and they're trying to fix the game to make it more balanced and fair. It's actually there. For Magic the Gathering, at least in the Philippines, I don't really feel that way at all. Like, I feel like some decks are just freaking OP. Like, if you're using this deck, like a fire deck, because that's what I go for, you're gonna get your ass handed to you unless you got some money on you, so... yeah, I got heavily frustrated. It's time consuming. Like, it takes so much time. Every freaking card, every freaking support, you need to memorize how it works. And it's not like... They could even change the game 180. I played Magic the Gathering for around 6 months before, but after the 6 months I was like, I quit. I can't do it, man. I can't do it. So, overall, when I got into Magic the Gathering, like, it's not for me. I didn't feel like it's for me. It's very difficult to play. And, what else? The tournaments for Magic the Gathering, or the community, I have nothing against communities. Like, I love joining every freaking community, but the problem I have with Magic the Gathering in general is that it's way too complicated. There's even rumors going on in my freaking place or country that if you get to play this game long enough and you get over obsessive over it, there's some people who can't let go. Like, sometimes it becomes their freaking life. Like, I even hear horror stories of people like beating each other up if they lose a game, because sometimes like they really take it. This game is very, very, very difficult. It's even harder than I wouldn't work if you're somebody who's gonna go start card games. Don't go for Magic the Gathering. Trust me, don't go for that. Go for something simple, man. Go start with Pokemon. Start with Monopoly Deal or something. I don't know. Start with Uno for all I care. Start with Vanguard. Start with Yu-Gi-Oh. Don't start with this. It's gonna give you a headache. It's gonna give you a headache. It's not worth it. It's not good. Not good. So, this may look like I'm trashing Magic the Gathering. No, I love this game. I really do. Like, I gave it a chance, like 6 months. But, oh my god. Oh my god. It's very difficult. It's not something I would recommend to somebody who's like a casual collector like me. Because whenever I start off playing card games, I'm like a casual collector. And if I'm into the game, I just get competitive. And whenever I buy support, I don't really base it on the meta. I base it on unique moves in which, even if they're not supposed to be in the same archetype, if I see that they work well with each other, I freaking go for it. That's how I build my decks. However, for Magic the Gathering, it's a different freaking story. You need somebody who's an expert. This is another thing I don't like about the game. If you're a beginner and you start off with Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Vanguard, it's okay to make mistakes. You can still learn the game. You won't get lost. If you start off with Magic the Gathering, you need a fucking expert to make this shit work, because there's a lot of things going on in this game that's like complicated, and it's fun. It's fun because it's complicated. Like, it's like a puzzle. It's like Rubik's Cube. I do Rubik's Cube in my free time, but it's so complicated. Like, it's so complicated. And at the same time, sometimes the community, at least the one in my place, it's toxic, so I don't play it too much. Some of them are good, some of them are not so good. overall in my country, I don't really see a lot of people who are into Magic the Gathering so much. So sometimes it kind of feels lonely. It's not as big as Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Vanguard in my country, because in my country, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Vanguard is much more common. Magic the Gathering is also common, but it's not somewhere where you could just find any place. If you go to the province in the Philippines and you go say, hey, I play Yu-Gi-Oh! They're gonna be like, yeah, I play that too. Or Vanguard is a bit rare here as well, but the community in Vanguard is also big here. Like, a lot of people I know actually play Vanguard. But Magic the Gathering, at least in my opinion, not so much. There aren't a lot of people who play Magic the Gathering. So I'm gonna go end this video with a single note. I just want to make it simple, and I'm not trashing the game. I love the game. If you want to go play Magic the Gathering, and if everything I said doesn't apply to you, be my guest. Like, I have nothing against people who love this game, because I did love this game. It just gets to happen. It's way too time consuming. It gives me too much of a headache, and I don't like the community too much, because the ones I've met, they're toxic, and it sort of ruined the game for me. I still keep these, but I only have 2 copies of the decks. I didn't own around 10 decks. If I love the card game, I have more than 10 decks. It's like my Yu-Gi-Oh! Hobby and my Vanguard hobby. I have over more than just 2 decks, because I want to learn more about the game. And if I'm able to afford it, I can earn, like, I'll get more. I didn't have that experience with this. I'm sorry, I didn't. Because with Vanguard, I have, like, I'll show you guys. I have over, like, these many decks, and this is not even 5% of what I can show. If you guys actually watch my channel, you guys know I have more than just 5 decks. Like, I have more than 5. Like, I have more than 10. I nearly have a whole freaking Vanguard collection and Yu-Gi-Oh! Collection. My Yu-Gi-Oh! Shit, I haven't showed you guys yet, but in the future, I will be. Like, as of now, the only ones you get to see are my Dark Magician deck and my Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. I'm planning to build an Exodia deck in the future. I also have a Fire Fist deck. But I'm planning to get a Red Eyes deck as well. Like, that shit's dope. So, yeah. Overall, like I said, if you're somebody who's starting card games, someone who's starting, simple into card games, somebody who's, just wants to be a casual collector like me, or wants to become slightly competitive, do that with any other card game. Just do yourself a favor, because, I'm somebody who's been doing this for years. Don't start with this. Don't. Not worth it. It's gonna give you a headache. Sometimes it's not good. I'm not trying to make Magic the Gathering look bad. I love this game. It just gets to happen. I didn't have a pleasant experience, and I'm just telling you guys about it. That's all. Anyways, I made my opinions very clear, so that's all. Anyways, that's all. Alright, my name is Kazuma Kuriyami. Thanks for watching my video, and signing off. Goodbye.